to do well in those subjects. So what do you think can be, done for history as a subject, or is it a bad choice?
You need to enjoy history first of all.
Actually, I like it, reading it just like storybooks. But apart from that, how do you need to prepare?
Have you seen this year's paper, mains paper?
No, sir.
In paper 1, they asked a lot of questions in ancient India, and in every question they asked for evidences. Evidences like there should be some, script, some Panduliki, Tamrilipi, all those things. They are not available in any book. I read R.S. Sharma for ancient India, Satish Chandra for medieval India, and Vipin Chandra for modern India. They are good books, but for history option you need to read more. And you need to do a lot of homework, and you need to write answers where you are analyzing. You need to soak up in history, you need to enjoy it. There's one good book by Sanjeev Sanyal, India, a Land of Seven Rivers. The book's name is A History of India's Geography. It's a very good book, sir. That guy, he was a Rhodes Scholar, I guess, and he's working with Deutsche Bank as a chief strategy officer. Very young guy, at this young age, he's doing so well. And he's not even from history. He's from economics background, and he has written a book with so many references to India's history. It's a very good book. But you should go through authors like Romila Thapar, Arjun Dev and all, who wrote during UPA government or earlier generations. In between, when the NDA government came, they kind of saffronized many questions, many portions in the history. So you need to be very careful while selecting the books, while selecting your readings. So I hope that UPSC continues to be an autonomous body, and those kind of questions are not asked. But if you go through Wikipedia about Indian history, it's a never-ending, never-ending part there, and it would just keep on throwing up links to you. And there's so many things available, but you need to restrict yourself. In history, you would never know everything in the question paper. But the questions that you know, if you can express yourself well in those questions, then that would make a true difference. For instance, this year in mains paper in general studies, they asked a question on the contribution of women, irrespective of their age, financial background and ethnicity, to India's freedom struggle. That's a very unlikely question, but now see, in our society we are talking about women empowerment. We are saying that women are downtrodden, they are not being their correct share. We are demanding 33% share in parliament for women. So they want to know, are you perspicacious enough to think that what was the role of Indian women during India's freedom struggle? If you can think that, I had thought on that question earlier, because I was trying to think of, okay, there was Rani Gadun Neu, there was Kasturba Gandhi, Sarojini Naidu, Annie Besant, who else? I had even thought of a question, what was the role of foreigners in India's freedom struggle? Everybody knows about Derozio, Eo Hume. There was this guy called Verrier Elvin. I read it in a book by Ramachandra Guha, Makers of Modern India. So I think that has made differences to my answer, because in a 10-mark question, if you can come up with 10 names as well, it would really augur well for your answer. So history is a good subject, and thankfully for you, the focus has shifted from cramming up dates and political structures. They would never ask you to tell about the hierarchy of Peshwas and Bhonsles and all. They would never ask you such questions.
Hello sir, I am Isha. I did my graduation in psychology. I want to opt psychology as an optional subject. Which book should I read?
Which college did you go to?
Carpet University.
Okay. Psychology is a good paper, but books I do not know. I just read class 11th and 12th psychology books, NCERT books, and I don't think they are sufficient. Do you know about, I would ask you a simple question on psychology that would give me an insight into the kind of preparation you have. Do you know about gifted students?
No sir.
Yeah? So that's one topic in psychology that wasn't mentioned in UPSC, but they asked this question like 2-3 years ago, that how should gifted students be trained? So in India, everyone goes to similar kind of schools, but in places like Singapore and US, people who are prodigies, who are very good at math from earlier age, they are sent to different schools. It's generally thought that with diseases like autism, people are born with gifts as well. Have you seen that movie, My Name is Khan? Yeah, Shah Rukh Khan was very thought to be very intelligent in that movie, but he had some limitations. He was said to be suffering from Asperger's syndrome. Now the International Council of Psychologists has delimited that as a disease. They say that it's an autism-related disorder. So in fact it said that all of us behave in a certain way because we suffer from one kind of psychological disorder or the other. But the medical journal does not, classify each one of them. Psychology is a good subject. You should have good guidance. You should know how to write answers. So there are good coaching walas available for psychology because it's always been a popular subject. But do make it a point that you refer to good journals, articles and citations available on PubMed on your own for doing good in this paper. Traditional books won't suffice and one book won't do. For law, the good thing was that you don't really need to read books, you need to understand concept. For instance, if you have understood theft, and if you know one case, I just know one case, Kestin Chand, I always write that case in every answer. So that suffices. But subjects like psychology, they are very vast. In fact, UPSC asks only for 3 subjects, for engineering, medicine and law. They do not ask from honors level. Psychology, they ask honors level questions between bachelors and masters.
Yes, I am Professor Nagpal. I just wanted to know, with the changed pattern of exams, as you were just speaking of, can we expect a bureaucracy now with better moral values and ethics?
I think within 2-3 years, people could learn to circumvent these changes as well. Because this year, as the paper on ethics, it was quite unexpected. Many people could not do well in that paper.